Alrighty, folks, happy Tuesday to you. Coming fresh off a winning day of plays on my premium page yesterday for Monday. We definitely needed that, and we're also 7-3 with a push of my last 11 board member tier package plays. And the good news is I've got another board member tier package play going off here today. That play's already posted and ready for access in the post section. And if you sign up for that board member package, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your membership. And of course, if you want to access all of my premium selections, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club membership. Gold Club members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And before we go ahead and move on, I just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my free pick video here today for Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to the new week. I know I did because got back on track a little bit. I mean, it was a pretty rough weekend with regards to, what I do. I didn't do it well, but Monday was a bit of a breath of fresh air, and we're looking to get the job done again today, really start to improve and have a great week. Listen, I was talking about my premium page. If you don't need access to all of my premium selections, but maybe you could use like one a day, my daily best play is going to cost you just $1.99 for 30 days worth of access. The math works out to be just 6 cents a day. Of course, if you don't want to sign up, no big deal. You don't have to pay me to enjoy the free content. And listen, I have plenty of free content on my premium page as well, including my current overall win-loss record. You can access that right now in the post section. Just go there and scroll down till you see it. You don't have to pay me to look at that. That's out in the open for you to either marvel at or critique. But anyway, folks, we currently have over 2,600 members who are signed up and active on my premium page at the moment. Once again, I feel great today, man. Really felt good about that bounce back, and let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going here today. Let's go ahead and start out with the Blue Jays at the Orioles. Game one of a doubleheader. Game one's going to be a 12:35 Eastern first pitch. Baltimore's minus 135, totals 10.5. Charlie Morton probable on the bump in game one for Baltimore. Easton Lucas possible in game one, but not yet officially confirmed for Toronto. You know, with these doubleheaders, sometimes, things get jumbled up. So keep an eye on this closer to first pitch. But listen, regardless of who gets the start for the Blue Jays, they've got a very good, very solid lineup of sluggers. Toronto's actually striking out fewer times a game than any other roster. They're also averaging nearly double-digit hits a game at the plate. Tyler Heineman with an OPS of 898. Vlad Guerrero on-base percentage nearly in the 400s. And they're going to possibly face Charlie Morton in game one. And listen, if they do, Morton certainly struggled this year. Just a 6-8 record with an ERA in the 5s. Of course, as a staff, the O's have, pretty much allowed a ton of base runners at Camden Yards this year. They're in the bottom 3 in hits allowed per game at home. Actually, 5.2 runs a game they give up in those home games. Now, 3 out of their last 4 near the Inner Harbor did get over the total. Toronto games went 8-2 to the over in their last 10. I like the Blue Jays plus $1.15, over 10 in game one. All right, next matchup. Looks familiar. Blue Jays Orioles game 2, 6:35 East. Toronto's minus $1.15 in game 2. Total is 10 runs. Eric Lauer possible for Toronto. Possible bullpen sesh for Baltimore in game 2. Now, 8 out of the O's last 10 gatherings with Toronto did get over the total. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Of course, both squads averaging a handful of runs per game in those head-to-head meetings. And as far as this season's concerned, the O's are starting to heat up a bit on their own diamond. I know I shit on them in Game 1, but they're now a top 10 run-scoring team at home. Ryan O'Hearn, on-base percentage in the high 300s. Gunnar Henderson, 14 stolen bases. OPS in the 800s. Meanwhile, for the Blue Jays on the other side, 4 out of their last 5 on the road got over the total. And once again, 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. No real surprise there. The bats have been pretty good here for the Blue Jays. I like the over 10 in Game 2. All right, next matchup, Diamondbacks, Tigers, 6:40 Eastern start. Detroit's minus 140, totals 8.5. CHC-MIL for the Tigers, Brandon Pfaadt for Arizona. Now, Pfaadt's got an ERA of 4.76. Arizona's definitely struggled pitching on the road. They're in the bottom 10 in runs allowed in their travels. And they're going to face a Detroit lineup who typically hits well. They're nearly in the top 5 in runs per game. Riley Green, 25 homers, 81 ribbies. Spencer Torkelson, OPS in the 800s. And out of 55 contests at Comerica Park, the Tigers have a .618 win percentage in those home games. Now, 3 out of the Tigers' last 5 at home did get over the total. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 gatherings with Arizona. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. I like the Tigers minus 140, over 8.5. Rockies, Guardians, 6:40 Eastern start. Cleveland's minus 225, totals 8.5. Logan Allen for the Guardians, Tanner Gordon for Colorado. And as solid as Gordon's been in limited action, the Rockies do typically pitch poorly on the road. They're allowing 5.4 runs a game in their travels, dead last in strikeouts per game away from home. And they're facing a Cleveland squad who tends to hit Rockies pitching well. They're averaging 9.3 hits a game in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings. And as far as this year's concerned, Jose Ramirez leads the lineup in homers and ribbies. Stephen Kwan on-base percentage in the mid-300s. Now, Cleveland games went 60% to the over in their last 10. Colorado with overs in 3 out of their last 4 on the road. I like the Guardians minus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. Rays, Yankees, 7:05 East. New York's $1.90, totals 9 runs. Max Fried for New York, Joe Boyle for Tampa Bay. And looks like we could have a special matchup on the hill here today. Tampa's Joe Boyle has a 1.42 ERA, .63 whip. Meanwhile, the Yankees' Max Fried has 11 wins, along with 116 strikeouts. 6 out of the Yankees' last 10 gatherings with Tampa Bay fell under the total. Rays with unders in their last 4 straight on the road. I like the under 9 runs. Dodgers, Reds, 7:10 Eastern start. LA's minus 160, totals 9. Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers, Nick Lodolo for Cincinnati. Now, Lodolo comes into today's matchup with 8 wins on the year, since he's now 31-23 at the Great American Ballpark. Of course, at the plate, Elly De La Cruz leads the roster in homers and ribbies. TJ Friedl on-base percentage in the high 300s. And they're facing a Dodger club who lost 6 out of their last 10. Pitching staff has definitely had some control issues. Believe it or not, the Dodgers are currently in the bottom 10 in runs allowed per game. Give me the Reds plus 1.5, over 9. Braves, Royals, 7:40 East. Kansas City's $1.25, totals 9.5. Seth Lugo for Kansas City. Eric Fetty making his debut for Atlanta. Fetty was 3-10 with the Cardinals this season with an ERA in the 5s. Of course, at the plate, the Braves have had a tough time scoring on the road. They're in the bottom 10 in runs per game in their travels. Just 7.8 hits per 9 as the away team. And they're going to take on Seth Lugo here today. Winning record, ERA in the 2s. The righty's also got a 1.09 whip. He's just one strikeout shy of the century mark. Of course, as a team, the Royals still have a winning record against National League competition. And of course, more recently, KC did get the W in 5 out of their last 8 games. The Bats certainly came alive during that time frame. Kansas City averaged 5.9 runs per game during that span. I like the Royals minus $1.25. Red Sox Twins, 7:40 Eastern start. Boston's minus 120, totals 8 runs. Lucas Giolito for the Red Sox, possible bullpen day for the Twins. And regardless of who starts for Minnesota, the Twins collectively have not thrown all that great at Target Field this year. They're in the bottom 10 in runs allowed on their own diamond. And in their last 10 meetings with Boston, they've definitely struggled with Red Sox sluggers. Minnesota allowed 9.5 hits a game during that time frame. We could see potentially, see more of the same here today, as Boston is a top 5 run producing team. Alex Bregman, OPS of 928. Wilyer Abreu leads the clubhouse in home runs. I like the Red Sox minus 120 over 8. Cubs, Brewers, 7:40 Eastern start. Milwaukee's $120, totals 8 runs. Quinn Priester for the Brewers, Colin Ray for Chicago. Now the Cubs saw overs in 3 out of their last 4 on the road, 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Of course, at the plate, both squads have had little problems rounding the base paths. Chicago's averaging 9.4 hits a game on the road. Milwaukee's a top 10 run scoring team. Christian Yelich leads the Brew Crew in homers and runs batted in. Sal Frelick with an on-base percentage of .356. And as far as the Cubs are concerned, Pete Crow Armstrong, he's got the most homers in the lineup. Seiya Suzuki, 5th in the league in runs batted in. Give me the over 8 runs. Phillies, White Sox, 7:40 East. Philadelphia is the $2 favorite. Totals 9 runs. Jesus Luzardo for Philadelphia. John Cannon for Chicago. Now, Cannon's just 4-7 on the year. And the White Sox typically struggle at the plate. They're averaging just 3.7 runs a game. Bottom 3 in hits per contest. And they're facing a Phillies team who's definitely thrown well in their travels. They're limiting opposing batters to just 3.4 runs a game on the road. And starting pitcher Jesus Luzardo, he's 8-5 with 136 strikeouts. Now, 6 out of the Phil's last 10 gatherings with Chicago fell under the number, 65% to the under in all of their away games. Give me the Phillies minus 1.5, under 9. Marlins, Cardinals, 7:45 East. St. Louis is $1.65, totals 8. Sonny Gray for the Redbirds, Sandy Alcantara for Miami. Now, Sandy's just 5-9 with an ERA of 6.66. If you're superstitious, that's not a great number. Of course, as a staff, the Fish have been pretty brutal on the road. They're allowing 5.2 runs a game away from Miami. And they're facing a St. Louis lineup who's definitely hit well at Busch Stadium. They're in the top 10 in hits per game at home. They're actually fanning just 6.8 times a game in front of their own fans. Wilson Contreras, 14 homers, club leader in RBI. Alec Burleson, 14 homers himself, OPS in the 800s. 3 out of the Cards' last 5 home games did get over the total. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Marlins. Give me the Cardinals, minus 165, over 8. Nationals, Astros, 8:10 Eastern start. Houston's $1.45, totals 9. Jason Alexander for Houston, Michael Soroka for Washington. Now, Soroka's 3-8 on the year, and Washington has struggled with Houston pitching. Nats are averaging just 3.9 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Astros, and unfortunately for Washington, the Astros are averaging nearly 11 punch-outs per game at home. They've been tough to hit against this year in their own building. Of course, as a staff, the Astros are now in the top 5 in fewest hits allowed per game. Now, 4 out of Houston's last 5 at home did fall under the total. 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Washington games went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Astros minus 145, under 9. Rangers, Angels, 938 East. LA's $1.20, totals 9. Yusei Kikuchi for the Angels, Patrick Corbin for Texas. Now, Corbin's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.27 whip. And as a staff, the Rangers allow just 3.4 runs per game. They're taking on an Angels squad who actually strikes out more times a game at home than any other lineup in the American League. No real surprise, the Angels are now in the bottom 10 in hits per contest. Now, 3 out of LA's last 5 at home did fall under the total. Give me the Rangers plus $1, under 9. Mets, Padres, 9:40 Eastern start. New York's $1.25, totals 8.5. Sean Manaea for New York, Ryan Bergert possible for San Diego. And if Bergert does indeed get the nod, he's had one heck of a season in limited work. The righty's got a 2.84 ERA through 31 2/3. Currently has a whip of 1.14. Of course, as a staff, these Padres pitchers have been tough to hit against at Petco Park. They're allowing just 3.3 runs a game in San Diego. Meanwhile, the Mets have had some difficulties getting on the base paths this year. New York's in the bottom 10 in hits per game in the box. They're also playing their worst baseball away from Flushing, Queens. They've currently got a losing road record at the moment. Now, total-wise, both teams with unders in 6 out of their last 10, respectively. Give me the Padres plus 105, under 8.5. Pirates, Giants, 9:45 East. San Francisco's minus 155, totals 8.5. Justin Verlander for the Giants, Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh. Now, Falter's got a winning record along with a 1.18 whip. Of course, as a team, the Bucks have been playing some pretty good baseball here recently. They're currently on a 3-game winning streak, 6-1 straight up in their last 7. And during that stretch, these Pittsburgh pitchers have been relatively dominant. 3 shutouts during that span I just mentioned. Only 1.7 runs a game they allowed during that stretch. And they're facing an ice-cold Giants team who lost their last 4 straight themselves. 2-8 straight-up record in their last 10. Of course, at the plate, the Giants have had all kinds of problems producing runs at Oracle Park. They're averaging only 3.7 runs a game in their own stadium. Now, total-wise, the unders cashed in 60% of their contests at the Bay. Pittsburgh with unders in 65% of their road games. I like Pittsburgh plus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Mariners Athletics, 10:05 Eastern start. The A's are minus 120, totals 10.5. Luis Severino for the A's, Logan Evans for Seattle. Now, Evans has a winning record and an ERA in the 3s, but even if the righty blows chunks, he is backed by one of the best road-scoring teams in the league. Seattle averages 9.6 hits a game in their travels, top 3 in runs per game on the road. Cal Raleigh, he's the league leader in homers and ribbies, OPS of 986. And Randy Arozarena, 19 stolen bases, on-base percentage of 351. And they're going to square off against Luis Severino, 4-11 record, ERA of 4.95. Of course, as a team, the A's have posted a record of just 20-32 in Sacramento, bottom 10 in strikeouts per game at the plate. Give me the Mariners plus $1. With that, folks, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. I like the Blue Jays plus $1.15, over 10 in Game 1. Give me the over 10 in Game 2 of that series. Detroit minus 140, over 8.5. Cleveland minus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. I like the under 9 in that Rays-Yankees game. Cincinnati plus 1.5, over 9. Kansas City minus $1.25. Red Sox minus 120, over 8. I like the over 8 in that Cubs-Brewers matchup. Phillies minus 1.5, under 9. Cardinals minus 165, over 8. Astros minus 145, under 9. Rangers plus $1, under 9 runs. Padres plus 105, under 8.5. Pirates plus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Give me the Mariners plus $1. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.